When I had the ball in my hands right here, I said, okay, I'm shooting a three. We're losing this game. We're not going to overtime. I'm too sore. Mark Baroka reached. He reached for the wrong ball, and then I was able to get open.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another fresh episode of 2OT. We are part of the Tiebreaker Times podcast family as we remind you that 2OT is presented by Smart. Simple, smart, game-changing. Simple, smart kami ni Magu. And then, Magu, there were just only four teams remaining in the 2020 PBA Philippine Cup, and the semifinals will start this Wednesday. Two very interesting matchups na pag-uusapan natin in this special episode of 2OT.
What a weekend of basketball ang ating natunghayan. Napakaraming nangyari, napakaraming ingay ang na-generate netong mga matchup na to. Kaya nga po, eto na, 4 na lang ang natitira ngayon to contend for the Philippine Cup. And guess what? For the first time in 6 years, there will be a brand new All-Filipino or Philippine Cup champion sa ating PBA. Something to look forward to, Carlo.
Yep, and if you look at the past 10 years, Magu, tatlong team pa lang yung nagcha-champion dito sa Philippine Cup. You know, the TNT, of course, the TNT reign na tatlong championships, nakaisa yung San Mig Coffee Mixers during their Grand Slam run. And then after that, yung 5 na ng San Miguel Beer. So it will be, something that is, something that we haven't seen in a very long time. And of course, one of the key figures in one of those matchups is here with us today as we welcome to the show, Matthew Wright. He's still connecting to our audio. Pero Magu, Matthew Wright had a big time performance in that game against the Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok, sending out the 2-time finalists in what was, I think, the most epic performance, most epic game in the entire quarterfinals.
You know what? His entire run, Matthew's entire run this PBA bubble has been epic. That game alone, he was coming up with all kinds of numbers, but it was overshadowed because that shot, it's one of those moments, it's one of those shots that will go down in PBA lore. It is something that everybody will remember for the next probably couple of decades or so.
And what's amazing was he did that against a really good team, no? Magnolia Hotshots, Pambansang Manok. Sabi ko nga kanina, 2-time finalist. They were one shot away from making it into the championship, actually winning the championship last season. And now their hopes, were dashed by a running 3-point shot coming from this guy. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us.
Shit, thanks for having me. Little technical difficulties, but I think we're good now.
Matt,
have you gotten over your own shot yet?
Yeah, it's since yesterday. I've been over it already. It looked pretty though. It looked pretty when I saw it again.
It was ridiculous, man. Can you give us an idea of what the bench was saying, what everybody was saying, what was going through your own head? 6 seconds remaining on your shot clock. You were dribbling the other way.
I completely forgot that the shot clock was at like 4. I was going for the last shot of the game, and then I forgot that we only had 14 seconds to begin with. So Coach Topex just screamed 3 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh shoot!" Like I had to make something happen. And to be honest, I don't know if I'll be able to duplicate that shot ever again. It's just one of those things that it went in that day, and we were just really lucky. That was a really lucky shot.
Matt, the Magnolia Hotshots have, an array of really defensive-oriented guards, and they were, sticking to you like glue throughout that ball game. Mark Baroka, Chris Banchero, Paul Lee, Gio Halalon. But still, you were able to wiggle free from Mark Baroka. Just can you tell us how tough it is to get the numbers that you did against that kind of defense?
Man, those guys are dogs. I was so sore the next day, man. They threw everything but the kitchen sink at me that game. Paul Lee was out there, giving me cheap shots to the stomach. Gio was in there trying to tackle my legs. Mark is, even though Mark is short, he's very sturdy and very strong, especially upper body wise, and he's quick. Every single one of those guys are quick and got a really low center of gravity, so they're real pesky. Chris Banchero, he did his thing too. That's a very tough team to score a lot of points on. And honestly, I have to give credit to my team and our offensive game plan. I had to move without the ball a lot, and we practiced that going towards the game. And my big man got me free enough to at least catch the ball. I think I had maybe one or two open shots that entire game, but I knew coming in that was what was going to happen. So I just mentally prepared myself for a beating that I took, and a beating is what they gave me.
Entering that game, Matt, those guys, their confidence, they were at an all-time high. They were winners of 6 consecutive. Did that play into your guys' heads? Or did the fact that you were the last team that actually beat them, did that give you the counter-confidence to just shrug them away?
Thought about that. I told the guys that, they've been on a winning streak since we beat them. So we're the last team that made them taste defeat. I told the guys in the locker room, let's just keep this game close because historically, whenever we've played them, they're a great team, but they've crumbled a lot in crunch time situations, and we've been able to take advantage of that. A couple of years ago, Jason hit a game-winning shot against them, and I think 3 years ago I hit a game-winning shot against them as well. So I just told them, as long as we keep it close and we give us a chance at the end, I feel like they're gonna crumble and we're gonna come out on top. So that's basically what happened.
I don't think it could have gone any closer than that, Matt. That last sequence, that was pushing it. That was pushing the envelope of being close to them, man.
Yeah, you're right. I really don't want to, play many more games like that. It's emotionally and physically draining.
We all love it, though. We all love the performances like that, being in the crunch like that, and just seeing somebody rise to the occasion. Pun intended for Phoenix Rising, but you guys did. You personally did too.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's just, Coach Topex does a very good job of keeping us level-minded. Never too high, never too low. He's like a Zen master. He's not even a basketball coach. He's kind of like a life coach in basketball shorts. He doesn't do anything mystical as a coach, like offensively or defensively. He just gives his players the absolute, like the utmost confidence in their abilities, and he knows what to say to calm us down and put things in perspective.
Matt, now we're seeing the fruits of your labor for you, for the entire team, your entry into the semifinals. You're back into the semifinals where you were last season as well in the Philippine Cup. But it could not have been easy for you guys because coming in, when you started practicing, of course, it was announced that you will have an interim head coach, Coach Topex Robinson. Can you just tell us how quickly all of the players bought into the system, into what Coach Topex was trying to get you guys to do at the start of everything?
Right away, guys bought into it immediately. Coach, he just has a way with players, and some coaches they try to keep a distance between themselves and the players. Maybe they, in this professional business, they don't want to keep, you might have to trade somebody or you might have to release somebody, so you don't want to, get too close to people. But Coach Topex is the opposite. He wants to know, how your kid's doing, how your wife is doing, and it makes him so much more personable. Something, or he corrects you. It comes from a place of care, and he genuinely wants us to succeed. So everybody bought in immediately.
Dating back to the last time we had you on this show, 2OT, it was you, Perk, and Chua.
Yeah.
Couple of you guys didn't even have a basketball in the middle of the pandemic. The literal ball. Nobody was dribbling. Nobody was stroking. And just thinking from that moment to this, entering the semis in a couple of days' time on Wednesday, a lot has changed with the Beast being back, with a brand new head coach now, from an interim coach to a head coach. So much has happened to you guys. Where do you see yourself right now at this juncture of the tournament?
We believe that we are the best team in the bubble right now. And, anyone else, they can go argue with themselves. But everyone in that group, in our locker room, on the fourth floor, we truly believe that we can win this thing. And our coach believes in us, and we believe in our coach, and that's all that really matters.
Well said, Matthew. I mean, I also asked this to Coach Topex Robinson after you beat Magnolia because I've known you from the ABL when you were playing for the Westports Malaysia Dragons for Coach Ariel Vanguardia, and what I know about you is that every time that you're on the floor, you always believe that you're the best player there and that you can beat anyone who's wearing the other uniform. Does this kind of mentality rub off to your teammates as well? Do you, when you start believing in yourself that much, do you feel that they also get a little more confident heading into the games?
I try to have that attitude rub off on the rest of the guys, and I try to give them confidence as well. Certain guys on our team need a little bit more of a push than others, and that's just from you getting to know them and how to push their buttons and what to say to get them motivated. So.
Naputol.
Yep, we lost Matt there, but I'm sure he'll be back in just a little bit. Pero Magu, yun yung napansin ko talaga kay Matthew Wright. I was able to see him play in the ASEAN Basketball League. Kasama niya si Jason Brickman. They won the championship there. Every time that he was on the floor, hindi mo masasabi sa kanya that he's not the best player there.
Yeah.
I mean, even if there are world imports, he doesn't care. He always believes that his team is better because he's better than anyone, because he can shoot them back into the game. And I think that kind of mentality really affects Phoenix Super LPG. Kasi kung makikita mo rin yung ginagawa nila, you have guys like Justin Chua and Jason Perkins taking more three-point shots than they've ever done in their careers. And saan ba nanggaling yung kumpiyansang yun? I really believe some of that is coming from Matt. It's coming from their leader telling them na, hey, you can take those shots because you work on those shots. At yun yung magiging resulta.
Yun yung Mamba mentality na rin. Hindi naman natin hindi rin tinatago ni Matt na idol niya si Kobe. He's dedicating this bubble tournament to Kobe, of course. Pero yun nga kita mo naman yung Matt. Number 2 scorer after the Olymps, just behind CJ Perez. Pero nasa top 5 din. Pagdating sa assist per game, yun yung importante, willing passer pa rin itong si Matthew Wright. Kaya nakita mo, everybody on that squad, yung lakas ng loob kakaiba. Even guys off the bench, Dave Marcelo, si RJ Azul had that one game. Yeah. He's been solid all tournament long. Pero that one game, the 33 points on 9 3-pointers, on any given night, anybody can have a ridiculous night para dito sa Phoenix. Yun yung nakakatuwa sa team na to, di ba?
As you can see, the numbers of Matthew Wright in that last game against Magnolia, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 3-point shots, a massive performance coming from him. And as he said, lahat na binato sa kanya ng depensa ng Magnolia because that's what defines Magnolia. They're tenacious, tough defense na hindi talaga magpapahinga because Coach Chito Victorero does a great job of keeping his players fresh, keeping his point guards fresh, but still Wright was able to rise above it and lift his team to victory. Magu, bati muna tayo sa mga nanonood, no? Si Mark
habang
Joey
inaantay natin
Fontillas,
si
Jovelyn Benavides San Jose, si Brian Scott, si Jonas Nieva.
Yung Joey Fontillas, gusto niya lahat ng taga-Kabuyaw, Laguna, batiin mo naman daw. And dami. Brian Scott, Joseph Barredol watching from Dubai. We've got Mar De Los Santos watching from Obando, Bulacan. Kamusta kayong lahat dyan? Kamusta rin kay Brian Bulan? And there you go. We got Matt back. Mamaya dadaanan pa natin yung mga questions nyo and yung mga shoutouts natin. But we got Matt back. Carlo, you were asking about the confidence that's innate. The quote-unquote Mamba mentality. We all know you've been saying you want to dedicate this tournament to the late, great Kobe Bryant, of course. Everybody's idol. But it's not just with you, Matt. Carlo was asking how your confidence rubs off on everybody else.
Yeah, sorry about that. I try to get to know everybody on a personal level so that I know which buttons to press and how to get them to react to certain things. So, for example, Jason doesn't really need much to motivate him. He's very self-motivated. But somebody like Justin, you kind of have to be more, you have to give him some compliments here and there, especially if he's not playing well. And, just saying something small, that seemingly like good job on this rebound, or he'll become more confident knowing that, he has like an acceptance with you. So, it's just about knowing guys personally and what buttons to press. And, we're a very confident bunch. Obviously Calvin, is so. We trust the coaching staff, and the coaching staff trusts us.
So speaking of trust, Matt, Coach Topex was talking to Carlo right after that game, right after your shot, and he was telling the story about how right after that shot, you asked him, "Do you trust me, Coach?" And he just said, "With all my heart." Talk us through what happened right there and then. That level of communication between the two of you, it's straight out of it's straight out of a storybook. Naputol yata ulit.
Yeah, it was one of the most interesting moments of that as we let Matt answer.
With all my heart.
I think Matthew should transfer here to the 6th floor. Mas malakas yata ang internet namin kaysa sa kanila. alam mo those post-game interviews have turned out to be, my favorite discussions with the coaches, especially kay Coach Topex Robinson, kasi parang he's always so open about whatever's happening with his team. And then parang yung sagot niya lagi, you won't expect. You won't, he won't give you 110% or all out effort.
Yun nga. Alam mo, Carlo, on behalf of the entire panel, we are actually so thankful na ikaw nag-handle nun, because it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Seryoso. It has become a game changer having you host the post-game pressers, kasi maganda yung mga angulo mo. And then syempre, pagpasok ng the rest of the media, yun na yung level, yung lawak ng pwedeng pagkwentuhan. You set the tone, and we thank you for that.
No, appreciate it. It's why I'm here. That's my job. Magu, I'll have to come clean. When we were discussing the conference, the season that was about to come up, ikaw yung nagsabi na you expect Matthew Wright to put up 25, 5 and 5 or 6.
May na ako dyan eh.
Oo nga eh.
May na ako dyan eh.
I think Matt's now back. Matt, again, we weren't able to hear your answer about that moment with Coach Lopez.
Oh yeah. After the game, I just smiled at him because I asked him if he trusts me. I just wanted to see what his reaction would be, and it was very flattering for him to hear him say "with all my heart," because it's likewise. It's reciprocated back with him. I trust him, and he had a risky game plan not starting me. And as much pride as I have, and I don't remember the last game I didn't start for Phoenix. I pushed it to the side and I said, "Hey man, as long as you guys believe in it, I trust you guys." And we ended up winning. And I know I came in the game, it was like 11-2, so I guess that didn't really work out. But maybe it's kind of way the algorithm somehow for us to win the game. So.
And while you were away, Matt, Carlo was reminding me about how before this bubble started, we just like guessing stuff. We like talking about basketball, and we were mentioning that we expect a stat line of 25, 5 and 5 from you. This thing hasn't updated with that 32-point performance, but I'm a little disappointed in you, man, because you finished the elimination round at 22.9. 5.4 and 6 assists per game. I'm missing 2 points here.
Suck, you're right.
Maybe with the update of the 32 points, it gets to 25 now. Matt's not done. He's got 5 more games in the
He'll
semis
get
and 7
there.
more in the
He'll get
finals to
there.
go.
Hey, as long as we get the win, I don't care how it happens, man. I'm a changed player. Maybe in years past, I would have been frustrated with some of the defenses that I've encountered with the traps and the box and ones. But my man, Jason and guys like Jason and Justin, we got to feed the beasts. And RJ had a huge game too. You know, we really have to share the sugar around the team, and they know that if I get open, I'll make the right plays for them, and I'll get them involved. So, yeah, I mean, as long as we win, you know, I think I had like a 10-point game against San Miguel. I only shot like 10 times, but
you had 10 assists that game too.
That was also one of our more convincing wins. So, as a team, and just to see RJ out there, you know, player of the game, he had like 33 points. You were really happy for him. You know, you really see it. And I was as happy as it was like I was the player of the game almost, just seeing RJ out there getting interviewed, because I know how hard he works and how much he deserves it. So
RJ hit 9 threes in that game. It was it got to a level where it just got ridiculous. And for you being a guy on the floor watching that, it's usually you we watch do stuff like that. How was your point of view seeing RJ do that?
I don't even think I've hit 9 threes in the PBA yet. I was amazed. It was beautiful. It was beautiful watching that. You know, just seeing him move without the ball and just seeing. I love seeing how confident guys can be out in the court. You know what I mean? It's a show. Put on a show that day. There's nothing really else to say. He just put on a show.
Well, I did watch you get 10 for the Dragons in the ABL, so maybe that's something that you can do in the PBA as well. But Matt, we already talked about that, you know, conversation with Coach Topex Robinson. How about that moment with Coach Willie Wilson after the game? Can you walk us through that?
Find me right here.
Double W. What's up, Willie? What's up, sirs?
Oh, it's another one.
We got another one.
My God. Anyway, yeah, I caught a lot of flack about that on Twitter. Everyone was roasting us for that. You know, there's all this romance and but that's the kind of relationship Willie and I have. I mean, he was the first guy when I got drafted who introduced himself and who sat me down and you know, he kind of gave me a little precursor of what to expect in the PBA. And ever since I've been on Phoenix, he's always been there right over my shoulder. So, you know, I owe a lot to him. I hope this is the only time I'm going to say anything nice about him in front of him, but so he needs to soak it up.
You know what else that means for Coach Willie? He getting old.
Hey, I've been old a long time already.
Yeah, we get at him about his age and you know how he has like old man soreness now. Yeah.
Being on the coaching staff, he still gets sore. Oh,
yes.
Man.
He somehow still gets sore just rebounding for me and you know, guarding the bigs on some seal drills and stuff like that. So yeah, that's just the kind of relationship that Willie and I have, and it's not just me. He has that with the rest of the guys, and that's why it was very easy for him to transition from a player into a coach. And you know, he did it very comfortably, and he might even be a better coach than he was a player, to be honest.
Matt, sorry, before we let you go, we let you rest this afternoon. I know you still have a lot of work to do. We just wanted, you know, a blow-by-blow account of those epic seconds leading up to your three-point shot. So we
got the video, man. We got the video.
We prepared the video. Thanks to the folks over at One Sports.
You were talking about how you were happy just watching RJ do that. I think everybody had so many pairs of eyeballs watching this in amazement. Can you talk us through this, Matt?
All right, so we were supposed to get a down screen for me. I almost hit the side of the backboard on that shot. That wasn't even close. Ball back. I saw Calvin down there, but he fumbled it. Luckily, he picked it up. And then when I had the ball in my hands right here, I said, okay, I'm shooting a three. We're losing this game. We're not going to overtime. I'm too sore. Mark Barocca reached. He reached for the wrong ball. And then I was able to get open. And for some reason, that's what my mind told my body to do. It felt very comfortable. shooting that shot. I know, that floater 1-footer is more, you're more accustomed to seeing that beneath the free throw line, but I had to get it up, and that's just what my mind told my body to do. I completely blacked out in that situation.
Usually at practice, you practice
at that
set
moment,
3-pointers, but this one's a runner. Have you worked on this?
No. I think I shot a couple today to see if it will go in, and it I don't know. I mean, I missed a few, so. But that's just when, all the drills that you do, all the, going game speed and, the work that you put in when no one's watching in a dark gym, that's when your mind pulls those things out of nowhere in those situations. And, that's honestly all predicated on hard work.
Matt, when you were taking that shot, as we watch another replay of it, there's the first screen coming from Justin. You get the shot, hit the side of the backboard. Luckily, you get the ball back. Down 88-86. When you were dribbling out, of course, you were computing it in your head.
Here, pause it here.
That very moment, with 4.2 seconds remaining, you had your back turned from the rim. You weren't even looking at the rim at this point.
You can see Coach Topex. I don't know if you can see him. He's being really demonstrative over there, screaming like 3 seconds, 3 seconds. I completely forgot. And I look like I was calm and collected, but I really just blacked out, man. Like I really can't really recall what happened. I just remember hearing the bench react.
I remember even Coach Ryan Gregorio, who was the analyst for this game. He was saying Matthew Wright was the only one that was calm, but inside you weren't.
He was calm because he didn't know.
I was just there. I was just, I was just present at that moment. Yeah. Really, it. Coach Topex talks about getting lost in the game, which is a good thing actually. You're not thinking too much, but you're not being careless either. And that's the kind of state, the flow state that he speaks so highly of. And I was just in that flow state in that moment.
Matt, just 2 questions from me. First was that taking the 3-point shot, was it a better option because you knew if you missed it, you had another game to play?
I wasn't really computing that at the time. I just knew I can't play another 5 minutes with Mark Baroka and Chris and everyone beating me up.
Yeah.
So we're either going to end this now and go home before 10:30. We'll get them next game, honestly. And that's why the 3-point line's there. I've always kind of been like a high risk, high reward, kind of guy. I just trust my skills. So I was just going to end the game on a 3 no matter what.
Second question from me was, were you really yelling Kobe when you were taking that shot?
I wasn't yelling anything, man. I was just, like I said, I was just in that flow state. And it didn't really dawn on me until I was staring down their bench. And I saw the reaction on their faces, and I saw Coach Cheeto just look away, and that's how I knew. I think that we won this game. Just from seeing the reaction from the Magnolia players, they look like they're defeated. They look like they want to go home after that shot.
It was a big shot.
It's one of those shots that definitely it started already. It goes down in PBA lore as one of the biggest shots in the history of the playoffs.
That's crazy for you to say. You've seen a lot of big shots, so I mean, coming from you, it's that's a pretty big honor. Hopefully, it'll be one of the franchise-changing shots. You know what I mean? Like, all it takes is one big moment, one big shot, one big win for a franchise to truly believe in itself. To rise to that next level. So hopefully, this was it.
And I think that's what brings the excitement. You don't have to be a Phoenix fan. You don't have to be a particular team fan, but it's one of those moments that it's just good for basketball. It's just great for Philippine basketball, I guess.
Yeah. The league, ever since I've come to this league in 2016, I haven't seen a non-SMC team win the championship.
Yeah.
It's been
Last time was 15, yeah.
I have never seen a non-San Miguel team win. So I feel like the tides are changing slowly in the PBA. A lot of the great superstars in the league are aging. They're on their decline, and there's just a new batch of young, up and coming superstars who are ready, to take over there's like a power vortex almost. That's especially since Jumar has been out. So everyone's kind of jockeying for position now. So this is the best time to really establish yourself and, draw the line in the sand and claim your stake. So we really truly feel that, this could be our year.
Just one question from me about the upcoming matchup for you guys in the semifinals, Phoenix Super LPG versus TNT Tropang Giga. RR Pogoy is a player that you know very well, and there will be a lot of eyeballs in that head-to-head matchup between you. What can you say about the talents, about the work ethic of RR Pogoy, and how excited are you to actually face off against him?
And not just that matchup, the two of the favorites now for MVP, you, Pogoy, and Pringle.
Pogoy's had a great season. He's been my roommate, been my friend, been my teammate since I got into the league, So, him and I are very close, and we know each other's games. We love competing against each other. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm just worried about me and our team. No matter what they throw at us, it's always us. It's always me versus the rim. That's how I see it. It doesn't matter who's in front of me guarding me. It's if you concentrate properly enough, you could be able to make any shot over anybody. And our team, we're just trying to focus on what we do right, rather than to try to cloud our judgment and try to psych ourselves out talking about the other team and what we need to stop. They got to stop us too. So, they may be trying to play to beat us, but we're trying to just be the best version of ourselves and see what happens.
Earlier, you were talking about how Barroca, Halalon, Banchero, and Lee were wearing you down. Pogoy is going to try and do the same. You ready for that?
Of course, but it's not like how those Magnolia guards were. Dogs, man, I'm telling you. They threw everything at me. So that was for me. I'm relieved that we don't have to play them, but that was a good barometer for how teams are going to play me in the playoffs. But I don't think that I'll face much more Mark Barocas and Paul Lees like in terms of defensively. Not saying that it's gonna be easier against Talk and Text. They have a great coaching staff. I'm sure they're gonna scout. I'm sure they're gonna have something up their sleeve for us. They have Poi out there as a defensive anchor, and they have bigger guards, to guard me. Ray and Pogoy. So it's gonna be its own challenge, but I'm excited, man. I'm really excited.
We want
we
5.
are all excited.
I know you want to
too.
do. I know you want to do it in 3. I know you want to take this in 3, but from our point of view, we want 5 games. We want 5 of you guys in TNT, man.
Hopefully it doesn't go that long, but I know for the fans, the fans would definitely love to see that. And it's just, we play also for the fans, and especially everything that's been happening with the typhoon, just the crisis and the pandemic. I said in the interview, if we can just give 2 hours of happiness to whoever's watching our games, for them to just forget about the financial stress, the health concerns, the whatever they may be going through, if they can just sit down and watch a PBA game and not think about what problems they have, then we already done our jobs, and that's already fulfilling enough.
Matthew, well said. We thank you so much for your time. Go rest up now, and we will see you on Wednesday for Game 1.
All right, thank you, Carlo.
5 games. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
An amazing interview with Matthew Wright. Again, thank you, Matthew Wright, for the time. And Magu, it's really refreshing. Kasi sinasabi natin kanina si Coach Topex Robinson, very honest with his emotions, very honest with what they're trying to do. Matthew Wright does not lack honesty. He answers questions the way he feels like answering them, and that is really what I like about him. Parang paminsan nasasanay tayo dun sa both teams play hard, ganun. Pero
masyado mabait eh. Si Matthew, diretso, straight shooter. That's what, not just his shot, but with his mouth, with his tongue too. Straight shooter lang, di ba? Be honest with you.
Man, it's really good to it's really good to hear because you know that this guy is gunning for the championship. He already said it. He thinks that they are the best team in the league today in the PBA bubble. So if you have a guy having that mentality, leading the Phoenix Super LPG against an offensive powerhouse in TNT Tropang Giga, we should be treated to a really good matchup.
Should we take a very short break or dire-diretso na natin?
Tuloy na natin to. Mainit pa yung discussion.
Tuloy na natin. Okay. And bago natin, isang pa nga, marami pa tayong nakahanda, no? To present to everybody, pero may nagagalit sa'yo dito eh.
Bakit?
Tinanong mo yung question niya eh. Sabi niya, that was my question, Carlo, nawala tuloy. Ang bilis matabunan eh because of the comments. But kamusta po kayong lahat nanonood ng live dito? TNT and Phoenix, this starts this coming Wednesday at 4 o'clock. This is the first semifinal matchup, Carlo. And it promises to be an explosive one.
Yep. As we said, yung 4 na quarterfinal matchup natin, epics. I mean, really good matchups, really good games. And then our 2 semifinal matchups, I mean, on one end, you have like two teams na sobrang galing ng opensa. You have Phoenix and TNT, really good shooting teams. Sila yung number 1 at number 2 in terms of 3 points made. So this will be a high-octane offensive battle. Sa kabilang banda naman, Barangay Ginebra versus the surprise team of the semifinals, the Meralco Bolts. I mean, they just made it back to the playoffs after 5 years. After missing it for 5 years, now they actually find themselves in the semifinals, a spot that they have not been in dito sa Philippine Cup against rivals in Barangay Ginebra. So could this be the time for Meralco Bolts just to get over the hump, take down the giant that has been preventing them from winning the first championship in the PBA for the Meralco franchise? Really good story.
Yeah, no? For the 4th time in the last 5 years, maghaharap ang Barangay Ginebra at saka ang Meralco. Pero may twist. Walang Durham, walang Brownlee, laban kung laban to. Sigurado bakbakan, wala nang sisihan na kasi mas magaling yung Brownlee kasi na yung nagbe-best import yung Durham, ganito, ganun. Ito, all Pinoy sa all Pinoy yung labanan. Sigurado magandang bakbakan. And with the history of these two franchises going at it, siguradong maganda rin yung magiging matchups natin. Especially because nakita natin just yesterday, si Almazan nakapaglaro na ulit. Nakakatakot yung nangyari sa kanya ng Friday. Natamaan yung tuhod, played 2 minutes last Friday, natamaan yung tuhod and then missed the rest of the game. Pero okay na, for basketball's sake, okay na nakabalik si Almazan last Sunday. And moving forward, may 2 araw, 3 araw pa until they play again on Wednesday at 6:45. Yung Almazan, baka ito talaga inaantay na ng Meralco dati pa. A legit 5 para sa kanila, may pantapat sila ngayon kay Japet Aguilar, di ba?
Magubalikan na lang natin yung naging matchup ng Meralco Bolts against the San Miguel Beermen. We saw how they overcame that twice to win disadvantage rather, the Meralco Bolts at the number 5 spot. Pero sabi nga natin halos tabla-tabla naman talaga sa quotient lang nagkatalo and they met an SMB squad that had injuries, that did not have Junmar Fajardo, did not have Terence Romeo, Matt Ganuelas Rosser, Alex Cabagnot did not play the first game. Chris Ross may iniinda, Marshall Lassiter may iniinda. Hindi natin ginagawa ng excuse itong San Miguel Beermen. We're just stating facts here. Na yan talaga yung state that they were in. But still, if you ask any of the members of that team, kumpiyansa pa rin sila heading into that second game that they can still somehow pull it off because that's the heart of a champion that they have. Unfortunately for SMB, their title reign ended at the hands of the Meralco Bolts, and now we have a new semifinalist in the Philippine Cup.
Ayun yung nakakatakot dito sa Meralco. Nakaka-impress and nakakatakot at the same time dito sa Meralco. They do it by committee. They've got a bunch of guys that'll score 14, 16 points. Walang magdodomina dito na parang Pugoy, na parang Parks, o na parang Pringle, o parang Matthew Wright na sa score ng 30, 40, 45. Etong mga to, kita mo si Cliff Hodge, 14, 6, and 3. 9 points nga lang si New sa ball game na yan, in this clincher. Pero kasi nga, they didn't really need their starters to pour in the scoring late in the game dahil nagkatambakan na. Pero everybody on this squad, Aaron Black has had his moments. Meron kang, nabanggit na natin, etong si New, he's been steady. Merong Baser Amer, merong Cliff Hodge, merong Tito Reynel Hugnatan. Everybody really contributing. Tapos yung Raymond Almazan nga, hindi pa ganun ka-solid yung mga contributions but he can give you a double-double on any given night. Yun ang nakakatakot dito sa Meralco, hindi lang yung hinahanap yung legit 5, hindi. Yung depth nila, lahat talaga has bought into what Coach Norm, everybody's on the same page, Coach Norman back in the semifinals of the Philippine Cup.
Game 1, yung best player nila also had 14 points. Parang yun lang yung kailangan mo for Meralco. Just someone else other than Nusam and Reynel Hugnatan to produce in double digits because you know na yung binabangkuhan nitong Meralco Bolts is their defense. Yan talaga yung bread and butter ng Meralco. They defend like crazy. They limit your rebounds. They limit your assists. They make you play away from your system. Yan yung strength ng coaching staff ni Coach Norman Black. And we are very happy for the Meralco franchise entering the Philippine Cup semifinal.
Pero Carlo, yun din ang gustong sandala ni Coach Tim dito. Defense. Coach Tim has always preached that. So itong Coach Norman, Coach Tim matchup natin, Meralco, Barangay Nebra, do we expect this to be a grinder of a series talagang scoring in the 70s, 80s, malaki na 90s sa series na to?
I would think so. I would think magiging ganun yung tema because even the quarterfinal games of both teams, ganun na yung tema eh. As we look at the numbers later on in that series between Rain or Shine, in that quarterfinal matchup between Rain or Shine and Barangay Ginebra, ganun din eh. It was a grind it out match kasi Rain or Shine also knows that they might not have the offensive arsenal para talaga talunin itong Barangay Ginebra in a high-scoring battle. So they kept it low. They kept the scoring very low, limited Stanley Pringle. That was maybe the best defense that I've seen personally throughout the Philippine Cup against Stanley Pringle kasi hindi talaga siya halos makahawak ng bola, hindi makatira ng malinis up until he made those back-to-back baskets, backbreakers in the fourth quarter. As you see the final score, 81-73, I think dyan lang maglalaro yung scoring ng serye between Barangay Ginebra and the Meralco Bolts. Yung isang serye, yung kabila, yun yung ine-expect natin na magiging umaapoy talaga yung labanan between Phoenix Super LPG and TNT Tropang Giga. But expect this one to be for, yung mga purists, yung mga gustong makikita yung adjustments, yung counter adjustments from two of the best coaches that we've ever seen in the PBA. And for one, I'm very excited to see them battle it out again.
Dagdagan lang natin yung kwento mo, no? Before the last 3 minutes of that game versus Rain or Shine, Pringle was shooting 3 of 12 from the field. 6 points lang before those 2 backbreaker baskets na kinatawag ni Carlo. Pero ang isa pang umusbong doon, nakita niyo yung picture, best player of the game. First time in the PBA bubble, tama ba?
Yeah.
Japet Aguilar with a double-double. He's played himself into form. Mas nakakatakot ngayon yung Barangay Nebra now that Japet is back to his double-double ways na hindi lang 10-10 Kita nyo naman, dominante pa rin yung mga numbers niya. Bumalik na, mapapalaban dito sila Almazan, sila Tito Reynel Hugnatan, and the rest of those guys. Faundo, we expect those guys to get a lot of minutes to try just to keep bodies on Japet at all times.
Yep, everyone will have to work against Barangay Ginebra's main guy in the middle right now. Pero yung maganda din dito sa Ginebra Magu is mataas na yung kumpiyansa ng mga nakapaglaro earlier in the conference, no? Kung kailangan mong hugutin si Prince Caperal, kung kailangan mong kumuha ng minuto kay Arvin Tolentino, they know that they can play because they've already produced. They've already gotten their minutes. May mga good moments na rin sila on the floor. So anytime Coach Timko needs to dig deep a little bit, he will have an option from a bunch of bench players who are already confident heading into this semifinal battle.
Dagdag mo nga dyan, Jared Dillinger, he's been solid, he's been steady. Jeff Chan, he's been solid, he's been steady. And si Jeff Chan nga, mula nung bagong lipat siya sa Ginebra, unti-unti nakukuha na niya dahil nakakatawag na ng play para sa kanya. Nung simula kasi kaya walang nagagawa si Jeff Chan sa Barangay Ginebra nung bagong lipat. He was there, pero he was there to just fill in space, not even a role. Jeff was filling space, filling one of the 5 positions on the floor, pero hindi nga siya effective ng ganon. Until you get Jeff Chan actually involved in place, call some screens for him, call some motion to get him free, either to take the 3 or to slash, dun po nagiging effective si Jeff Chan. And nakikita natin as time has gone, nauhuli na ni Coach Tim paano siya incorporate sa opensa nila. And Jeff Chan, hindi na kasing explosive nung dating rain or shine days niya, pero very effective pa rin.
For sure. And he has been attacking the rim more here in the conference. So nakakagulat din actually, no, na ganito kadalas umatake si Jeff Chan. He's been creating for his teammates as well, attracting the defense. Kasi pag nag-shot fake si Jeff Chan, kailangan mong kumagat. Like, you really have no other choice but to try and close out long against Jeff. So that gives him an avenue to attack the middle and then maybe drag out the defense para makaset up ng ibang teammates. Again, maganda yung matchup ng Barangay Ginebra versus Meralco kasi parehong may lalim yung magkabilang kupunan. So it'll be very interesting to see how Coach Norman and Coach Tim try to squeeze out, every inch of potential coming from all of these players, and let's see who will come out on top.
Ito, ang dami nang nagbibigay din ng kanilang mga opinion about this matchup. Pero bago yun, saan ba yun? May nag-hi sa'yo eh. Hi from room 627 ba of Quest Hotel?
Room ko yun eh.
Si Einor Cold River eh. Nag-hi dito. Pero
sabi ko kasi
alam niyo na po room ni Carla kung may papadala kayo.
Sabi ko sa kanila, wag muna silang maingay.
Asan na ba yun? Yung bench depth daw ng Meralco.
Yeah.
Ang magiging lamang. Although we've been talking about yung mga off-the-bench players din ni Coach Tim. May panaka-naka they've had their moments. Hindi katulad nga nung Meralco. All tournament long, Carlo, yun nga, no? 14, 16 points. You don't expect anybody there to score 30, 40. Talagang tulong-tulong kapit-bisig ang gagawin sa'yo ng Meralco Bolts. Kaya yung rotation na yun, talagang all tournament long yun na sinandalan, and we don't expect Coach Norman to change it right now, di ba?
Of course, that has been working for them.
Si Bernard Baluyot pala yan. Bench depth advantage na Meralco. Coach Tim will utilize 8 to 9 players in the playoffs, which is yun naman talaga style ng mga coach, di ba? Pagka palalim playoffs, pa konti ginagamit.
Kasi yung bench players pa lang ni Coach Norman Black, you have Aaron there, Alain Maliksi. Siyempre, si Raymond Almazan has also been playing off the bench for them. So that is 3 solid contributors off the bench agad-agad for Coach Norman. Same number of players for Coach Tim Cone. So again, ako sobrang excited ako mapanood itong dalawang teams na maglaban. Kasi alam mong kabisado na nila yung galaw ng isa't isa. So that will make for a very interesting chess battle between these two grandmasters.
So yan nga po, no? Ang dami pa natin pwedeng pagkwentuhan about this Barangay Ginebra Meralco matchup. And as this series goes along, Carlo, we will update our own opinions and everybody else's opinion. Pwede nyo padala. Siguro after game 1, game 2, tuloy-tuloy natin dahil siguradong malaman tong seryeng to. Especially for purists nga dahil don't expect high-scoring ball games in this matchup, like you said, Carlo.
Yep, and that should be the case. That should be what everyone else would expect. May mga nagtatanong nga sa atin, Magu, sa Twitter, kailan daw ba tayo magpapasok ng fans ulit to ask about their opinions, no? Sineset up lang natin itong semifinal series, but I'm sure after certain games in the semifinals, we will invite fans from Phoenix Super LPG, TNT, Barangay Ginebra, and the Meralco Bulls to join us. Kasi, alam mo naman, para sa mga fans, para sa mga followers ng 2OT itong show na to. So we would like to hear their opinions as well. Let's now move on to our quarterfinal pairing na hindi pa natin na-discuss, no? Yung TNT Tropang Giga versus the Alaska Aces. And we previewed this matchup, Magu. And in the first half of the game, parang tama yung naging tingin natin eh. Kasi
kung 24 minutes lang yung laro, henyo tayo. Table, 51 all, di ba?
Kasi sabi natin, hindi makakatabla sa 3-point shooting itong Alaska because that's not them. So they have to dominate the shaded area. They have to get offensive rebounds. They will have to get putbacks. And that was exactly what they did in the first half of that game, no? Nakakuha ng konting espasyo yung TNT pero mabilis na nabura ng Alaska. But in the second half, just the offensive arsenal of TNT was just too much to handle for the defense of Alaska.
Parang kung hindi ka nga consistent, 24 minutes nagawa pero kung hindi mo maitutuloy all the way to 48, madidisgrasya ka. And yun na nga, nung pumutok na, nung nahuli na yung rhythm, nung nasukat na nila yung depensa, ayun na, lumabas yung tunay na kulay ng TNT, yung firepower nila talagang nakakatakot naman talaga.
And yung frustration nga ni Coach Jeffrey Carriazo after the game, sabi niya, kung pwede lang ako mag-uniform, babantayan ko si Pogoy. Kasi alam natin how good a defensive player the Jet was during his heyday, no? But Pogoy has been burning them here in the bubble, exploded 45 with 45 points in their first game, 34 ngayon sa pangalawang laro nila against each other, 60% shooting from the 3-point range. There's something about this matchup that just works well for Roger Ray Pogoy.
But speaking of this game, makikikamusta lang ako and update na rin natin lahat. Kamusta na si Abel Galigues?
Okay na. From that night, from that hard fall, syempre, nakakatakot, di ba? Anytime your head is involved in the injury, tapos makakita ka ng dugo, laging matatakot ka for that player. But
It reminded me of the Samboy limb spill way back in the day. Kasi una kilay talaga bumagsak si Samboy noon, ganun din kay Galigues. It was a hard challenge. Both of them were really doing what they wanted. Ray was going hard. Galigues was challenging hard. It was just an unfortunate incident. And yun nga, ang kagandahan, ang update mo, okay na. Ang nabasa ko, 20 stitches daw, no?
Yep, kasi multi-level yung tahi. So hindi pwedeng sa surface lang. Tinahi muna yung sa loob, tapos papatungan ng isa pa sa labas. Alam mo yung maganda dito sa Alaska was that they came into the PBA bubble with their head trainer, si Master Gus. Pero may kasama silang team physician, si Dr. Sun. Yung nakausap natin nung reunion, di ba? Parang you know how much the Alaska franchise loves Dr. Sun. And yung presence niya was really important. Nakita ko yung value really of having a team physician in the bubble. Kasi nung pagkatama pa lang kay Abel, binigyan na ng mobility check, yung mga daliri, gumagalaw ba, yung paa, nararamdaman mo ba lahat? Just to,
kasi in shock pa si Abel gusto pang tumayo di ba?
Correct. And then ikaw naman as a doctor, gusto mong i-cross out na yung mga possibilities. So okay, maganda yung paggalaw niya, maganda yung reaction niya. So you can worry less about, spinal injuries or whatnot kasi nararamdaman naman niya, nagagalaw naman niya lahat. Na-clear yung MRI, everything was clear, no fractures except for a small one yata dun sa side nung kanyang ilong. But other than the cut, Abel Galigues is fine. He was able to go home with the Alaska team nung sabay-sabay nilang pag-uwi.
Yun yung maganda pa doon. I heard Coach Jeff say pa na inaantay pa nilang bumalik sa hotel si Galigues. They came in as one team. They wanted to leave as one team as well. That's an excellent gesture. Yung Alaska family nila nagsama-sama pa rin pauwi galing sa bubble.
No, we not me nga, 'di ba? Yan yung pinaglalaban ng Alaska franchise. And they did. They waited for him. I think nakabalik siya doon mga 10:30 dito sa hotel, 10:30 p.m. And sinalubong naman agad siya ng teammates niya, no? Sila JV Casio were there just to talk to him, welcome him back. And we're glad that he's okay. And
hopefully para sa Alaska, yung maganda naman talaga pinakita except for that last half of basketball. Just that last 24 minutes, magbunga ng maganda to moving forward to next season para sa kanila. Pero it was TNT who was the higher seed and they have advanced now into the next round. They take on Phoenix, Carlo.
Yep, and it should be a fiery matchup as we discussed. Yung TNT is the top team in terms of 2-point field goal percentage. Parang di ba? Counterintuitive because when you talk about TNT, lagi mong iniisip, ang dami nilang tres. Ang dami nilang options from the 3-point range. But actually, they are the best when they attack the rim. When they shoot within distance, when they dominate the shaded area. And it just so happens that Jason Castro is also the top 2-point field goal shooting player in the entire league. Dinaig niya po lahat ng big men, ng lahat ng teams in terms of percentage in the shaded area because of how unstoppable he has been when he attacks. Kaya it's an interesting matchup. Yung Phoenix Super LPG number 1 team dun sa 3-point shooting percentage. Sa loob naman, yung TNT Tropang Giga. So, tignan natin how that matchup plays itself out.
Alam mo, you just heard Matthew Wright kanina, no, na hindi talaga individual matchups yung sinisilip nila. Alam mo naman yung TNT, sistema nila, hindi din sumisilip ng mga individual matchup yan. Both of these franchises look at their teams as a whole, pero gusto ko ipilit Bakit ba? Ganda ng mga matchup Meron tayong Justin Chua threatening to be the brand new Tapal King of the PBA. Still leading the PBA right now in blocks per game. Kontra do sa dating Tapal King na si JP Eran. Meron kang Ray Parks versus Calvin Abueva. Enough said for that matchup. Meron kang RR Pogoy versus Matthew Wright. Ang hinahanap ko ngayon, sinong imamatch mo naman dito kay Doubler Jason Castro?
Yun yung very interesting about how Phoenix Super LPG plays. Kasi pag maglalaro sila, even their starters, more often than not, walang natural point guard because they rely on Matthew Wright to do a lot of the playmaking. Of course, may RG Azul. And I'm sure he has also done a great job, of matching up against Jason Castro throughout his career. Former TNT player Brian Naruela is one of their point guards. Pero feeling ko magkakaroon ng oras si Alex Malyari to try and slow down itong si Jason Castro because he has the size to challenge Castro when he's shooting from the outside. And malaki yung hakbang So pwede mong sabayan si Jason heading into the rim and try to make it harder for him to shoot on his layups.
A healthy Alex Malyari can be deadly. Paalala natin sa lahat. It was Malyari who forced Paulie into a 19-foot fadeaway in that last sequence, in the last 9 seconds of that Phoenix Magnolia game. It was Malyari's single coverage on Paulie. Diba yung length ni Malyari, yun ngayon ang iniisip mo, pwede natin isipin lahat din baka yun nga ipatao naman dito kay Dabler.
I would think so. I mean, in terms of just pure defensive skill and athleticism, tingin ko magandang matchup si Alex Malyari against Jason. May may Troy Rosario versus Perkins pa.
Yung pa, kita mo na. Ang galing natin magpilit ng individual matchup kahit ayaw nila. Pero Troy versus Perkins, si Perk, one of the leading rebounders then of the PBA today. Gandang matchup din yan. Troy, and both of them can stretch each other to the 3-point line, Carlo.
For sure. Tapos kung magsawa ka na dun sa Calvin Ray, may Calvin David Semerad ka pang isa pang matchup na pwedeng ipilit. I mean, wala talaga I mean, these are amazing individual performers with amazing teams and now they will go up against each other. Kaya nga kami ni Magu pareho kahit ayaw nila, magre-request kami ng 5-game series between Phoenix Super LPG and TNT.
Gusto ko lahat 5. Tapos kung sino man sa 4 na to pumasok sa final, 7.
Ito.
Para hindi makauwi si Carlo.
Exacto yun If magkakaroon ng, ito lang Magu, just a quick math. If umabot ng 5 games yung semifinals, tapos umabot ng 7 games yung finals, yung game 7, 15. Birthday ko, yun na yung, 13. Yun na yung pinakamagandang regalo para sa akin.
Hindi naabot ng 15 to, so 13.
Oo, 13.
Baka magka 1-day break between semis and finals, hindi kaya?
Hindi. Nakalabas na. Parang immediately after matapos yung semifinals, next Wednesday, Friday, or Sunday, laro na agad. Whenever that falls.
So, ang ibig mo sabihin, pag ito, natapos ng 13, diretso ka lang dyan sa Angeles, magtatago ka sa aming lahat,
Wala akong ililibre. Tama.
Magtatago ka kaya pala. Hindi pwede yun. Kailangan dito ka umuwi.
Game 7. Dito lang ako.
Magtatago sa amin. Ito, ang dami nagbibigay sa atin ng, sabi ni Romel Nadalo, yung Abueva Parks. Ang daming mga interesting matchup kasi. Ano yung excited kayo na matchup dito sa TNT Phoenix? Because like we mentioned, Carlo, up and down the order.
Yeah.
Solid yung mga pwede magtapat, di ba?
For sure. Ako personally, I'm really looking forward to. I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. Our Pogoy versus Matthew Wright because whatever happens, I think the survivor of that matchup will be the favorite from that bracket to win the MVP or BPC. Di pa natin alam di pa natin alam kung ano yung plano ng PBA in terms of giving out awards at the end of this conference/season. Sa kabila kasi if Meralco heads to the finals, they don't have a very strong contender. I mean, Newsom has his numbers. Pero if ikukumpara mo dun sa numero ng Pogoy or Matthew,
walang clear cut.
Walang clear cut contender Aside from Stanley Pringle.
Bayanihan nga yun Bayanihan. As compared to.
Yeah. Sa kabilang banda naman, Barangay Ginebra has Pringle.
Because Pringle's been solid all tournament long. Chapit Aguilar, as we've been mentioning, has come on strong. Pero yung Pringle simulat sa pool, simula ng bubble, nandoon na, solid, sunod-sunod. So he is the favorite on that side. And pati sa statistical points, nandiyan yata si Pringle.
Correct.
It is Pringle, Wright, and Pogoy talaga nandiyan sa ibabaw. Mahirap talaga hanapan yung Meralco dahil hindi nga po sa statistical points sa team wins sa team concept yung ginagamit nila.
So, yun pa yung pwede mong isang hintayin na will that, be enough to crown Pogoy or Matthew Wright as the BPC as opposed to maybe someone from Meralco or Stanley Pringle from the other side? These are very interesting storylines that we're all waiting to experience starting Wednesday. Kaya magandang basketball po mapapanood natin from here on in. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays na lang ang ating mga laro.
Yung pong huling storyline na yun, yung habulan sa BPC or MVP, pupukpukin natin yung storyang yan pagka malapit-lapit na yung finals or baka sa finals na kasi tandaan po natin, traditionally naman, ang BPC kukunin mo sa isa sa dalawang finalist.
True.
Hindi ginugawa sa quarter finalist yan, hindi ginugawa sa semifinalist. Talagang, kasi may bonus points po yan eh. Kaya yung bonus statistical points yan, basta maglaro kahit 1 minute, nakukuha yung bonus na yon. Malaking bagay to push somebody's campaign over the hump. Kaya yun mga tututukan natin as we go along. Pero hindi pa nga, yun nga, kahit hindi pa natin pag-usapan as Carlo mentioned, ang dami pang magandang basketball ang inaharap natin ngayon.
And I'm sure we will run into even more storylines as the semis go on, kasi maraming magde-develop na kwento diyan eh.
Pinaalala sa atin, no? Pinaalala sa atin ni James Paul Olanyo, Abueva versus Sparks, remember yung segment ng FTW. Since college pa lang, pinag-uusapan na natin yan. First time mag-aharap sila sa college noon. Ngayon, first time mag-aharap in the playoffs of the PBA. Tama nga naman. Thank you for reminding us. Hanapin natin mamaya yun, post nga natin.
Tanda na natin, tagal na natin ginagawa to.
Si Kuya Miko lang matanda, kuya natin yun eh.
Again, muli po, we thank everyone for joining us in the show. We thank Matthew Wright for being available for us kahit na, parang pahinga niya dapat to eh. Binigyan niya na tayo ng konting oras para makausap natin, to pick his brain about the upcoming matchup. So, this Wednesday, we will start the semifinals. TNT Tropang Giga versus Phoenix Super LPG on one end. Barangay Ginebra, San Miguel versus Meralco Bolts on the other. Just as a basketball fan, I'm very excited to see everyone play. Kasi, ano na eh, parang, alam mo nung 12 teams pa yung nandito sa Quest Hotel, ang saya eh. Every time lalabas ka, may makakasalubong kang kumakain or bumibili ng ice cream or mag-swimming or mag-gym. But now, you can feel that it's all business. Tahimik na, sarado na lahat ng kwarto, lahat halos bakante na. Then
Tsaka bumilis na internet.
All of the teams are on their own. So, you just feel that yung intensity umangat na para dito sa mga apat na nalalabing team. So, again,
it just got real.
Yep.
It just got real for all 4 of these teams. Umuwi na nga yung iba eh. Ito mga to, pinupush na lahat. Gusto nila sa Pasko na uwian. Ayaw mauwi ng maaga, syempre.
We just wish that everyone will stay healthy so we get treated to the best matchups possible in the semifinals, and we are excited to get it going. So yan na po muna.
Hindi lang tayo, Carlo. Hindi lang tayo. Pati nga yung mga katuuti natin. Ang tagal ng humihiling. Yung Zoom nights. Yung Zoom nights natin, kakwentuhan natin lahat ng nakatutok sa atin palagi. Tsempohan natin yan. Promise before the end of this week, makakaisa tayo. Pero all throughout the semis, tsempohan natin na magagandang gabihan. Either the night before or mismong sa gabi right after the double headers. Tsempohan natin yan. Tutok lang kayo dito sa Tuuti. Maglalabas tayo ng mga Zoom link pag nakatsempo tayo na maganda.
Muli po, maraming salamat sa inyong patuloy na pagtutok. Ako si Carlo Pamintuan, siya si Magumar John, and this is 2OT of the Tiebreaker Times podcast family. 2OT is presented by Smart. Simple, smart, game-changing, simple, smart. Kami na Magu. We'll see you again Wednesday for more of your semifinals in the 2020 PBA Philippine Cup.